Well, hi folks, my name is Kathy Jacobson. I'm from Athens County in southeast Ohio, sparsely populated, very rural. So I'm here to quickly catch you up with what I'm doing. I have been farming earthworms, or really microorganisms, for 33 years. I started back in 1980. Started with 1 pound, they reproduced very well. So here we go. This is kind of where I'm going to fly through. It's a scalable system. Everybody can get one worm bin and keep growing with it, even up to the commercial level. So this is my place. I have a 65-acre farm. It's off-grid, all solar electricity, solar thermal hot water. The whole design is passive solar using local materials. So I have no electric bill. I use a potable rainwater system, so all of the water comes off the roof, and everything is upcycled. It is a tree farm. I've got a multi-use management plan. Vermiculture is part of that. We host a lot of different kinds of workshops. We have an intensive garden that's thriving where was once just hard subsurface clay. Once I started the incorporation of earthworm-friendly gardening, using vermicompost, all of the efforts just went boom. You get those organisms working for you, and you'd be amazed. So this is my collection area. It's an outdoor washing area. Again, we use potable water. I utilize best management practices. We need to be aware of runoff. Everything you guys as composters know you're required to do, I do voluntarily. We use a lot of cardboard for our bedding. So we take the chainsaw bar oil with fossil fuels out, and we put food-grade olive oil in it, and we can go through that cardboard, and I get big collections of cardboard. I like to cut it up because it's better for the worms, it works better. So that's coffee chaff coming from our coffee company partner. I'm big into hygiene, pathogen control, temperatures, all of that. So you got to keep your hands clean. And then we've got a solar electric charged golf cart, and we take the buckets, we get them all washed good, and then they go out in the sun for solar sanitation. And that's my buddy Constantine there. He owns Athens Own that we'll talk about. I have an indoor breeding area. It's the lower level. It's all heated by passive solar heat. Maintains its temperatures. I'm really into reproduction in this operation, so I make a really amorous environment for my worms. Perfect moisture. She was talking about moisture and drainage. And I experiment with different holes, how much drainage, where, etc. This is a worm hive that my buddies from an Amish community made. And that was an idea that we want to make a bin that can go in the kitchen or in the restaurant. And I actually had a bin in our kitchen in our learning center. Nobody knew the worms were there, and it works pretty well. Here's an example of some worm bins. I use a mister. You really don't want to pour water on a worm bin. People talk about all this drainage they get. Well, it's probably because they're pouring water on it. I use a little mister, and that's curing, and it cures in old cheese boxes, and then the cocoons hatch out, and I get the cocoons and the worms to go back in, and all good fun. Wintertime. This process is known in Ohio. My worms stay happy. They process an outrageous amount of food, and it goes year-round. That's winter bin. You see the snow? And it's running about 85, which is actually a little hotter than the worms like. But they move. These are living organisms, so they move in when it's warm, they move out to the side. That's a little greenhouse with the bin in the back. That's a worm trench in the garden itself. So I dig down in, I put bedding, I put my extra worms in there, and they'll continue all winter long. And then I cure compost in the back of that as well. That's us harvesting and herding these worms. A curing pile with upcycled burlap from our coffee company buddies, and that gets covered. This is an old historic seed cleaner, so we're using it for our worms, and it works pretty well. And that's some of the black gold heading towards the seed cleaner, and my sister nurse helping me bag it up. My fish love it, so I also sell bait worms. I give special feed and things, get them a certain size for fishing worms. I love to do experiments, so those are my seed trial experiments, 10%, 20%, 50%, what turns out best. There's just some upcycled coffee bags we package compost in. There's some vermicompost aerated tea, which is an awful lot of fun. So this is kind of just an overview of the inputs that go in, the outputs. So I do sell these worms that Rhonda was talking about, that's my specialty. And when you buy quantities of it, you definitely get a discount from the $30 a pound. So self-sustaining, no debt, no overhead, being that I'm off-grid, and and it is a limiting factor for me, because I don't want to get big. I want to see us have a decentralized system, and working with you guys in the partnership. And the trend is really changing. You know, after my 40-some plus years, I am seeing social change, and I'm seeing social change come to Ohio. So, Athens Zone, they provide my niche hauling. So we have products from our neighborhood that he takes into Athens, which is our closest micropolitan city, and then he comes back out with the food scraps from a lot of those other companies, as well as 50-gallon barrels of spent grain from our local microbrewery. He takes a swing by the Redbird Ranch cattle farm. The grain goes to the cattle, which then become the beef, which then become the Athens Zone dry aged beef. So it's really nice flow. That number there includes the grain, which I don't include in my calculations. We have a neighborhood circle. Everybody has worm bins. They're part of my network. And then this is the regional approach I take. You know, so we're down there. You guys are probably all around the state, and if we network together, neighborhood, township, county, region, works good. This is a network group I have on the internet for Ohio worm farmers. And then of course we have down here the North Carolina site, and she's had me posted up there for a long time. I get calls from all over the state and the region. If someone calls me from Cleveland, I first look to say, have you talked to anyone in your local area? Do we have a regional Northeast Ohio worm farmer? Because if we do, I would like you to get your worms from them. Probably doesn't make sense business-wise, but in terms of building resilience, I think it makes a lot more sense. So this is what I thought about in terms of looking at the food scraps initiatives, looking around the country, what are the barriers that we're running into, and how does vermiculture help meet those? You guys have probably all seen that, but you see, third down is feed animals. Well, earthworms are animals. And in Ohio, it's great because I'm a livestock operation. I'm not a composting operation. And vermicompost isn't a compost, it's an unregulated manure. So what about regulation barriers? The other factors that pop up a lot is yuck. A household produces about 7 to 9 pounds of food according to some local, source. Well, worms will chow through that. Convenience, transportation and collection service, more on-site, whether you're in a prison or in your own homes. But that can have a really dramatic impact if we're starting with every single person. Regulation I mentioned, and change. Farmers love to talk. So this is kind of the list of all the things. So if you're raising earthworms and you're diverting your food scraps, please don't forget about the social, the economic, and the environmental stuff. So let's incorporate vermiculture into our food scraps and recovery, as well as into our therapies and our incarceration stuff. This is what I'm calling for. I want them in every home. I don't care if you're living in a condominium or a dorm room, you can have worms. There's no smell, there's no yuck. Top down, what can leadership do? Well, there are some basic things. Let's just get vermiculture onto the table.